Hi, my name is Mr. Elias and I'm going to show you how to carbonate juice in your Sodastream. I know it says right on top, or on mine it said right on top that you can only carbonate water in your Sodastream. That was the only thing you can carbonate. It says it can damage it if you don't. If it does damage your machine, what I do, it's not my fault. It worked for me. I don't guarantee it'll work for everyone. But I do know what has worked for me. Now, one thing of note, when you're carbonating juices in your Sodastream, they always have to be cold. I like to have mine just above freezing. That's really the only way they'll carbonate, otherwise it just fizzes out. It's a chemistry principle. The colder a liquid is, the more gases it can dissolve. So, right here I have some apple juice, some really cold apple juice, so you can see the condensation on the side. And then we're going to carbonate in the Sodastream. Normally what the Sodastream says is, you push it down once, then let it off, push it on again, let it off, push it again, let it off 3 times if you want more carbonation. What we're going to do, instead of pushing it down and letting it off, we're going to push it down and just let it up a little bit. Now you'll see here when I do this, what I do, but I'm going to push it down, and then I'm only going to let it off until it stops putting the gas, stops putting the CO2 in the juice, but it doesn't let the pressure off yet. So first off, we're going to put it in. By the way, this is the Sodastream Play, and so other models might not work the same way, but the idea is you don't want to let the gas off right away, the CO2 off right away, or else it'll just fizz right out and make a mess, a foamy mess as you'll see in a lot of other videos on YouTube. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push it in and hold it for about a second or two, and then let it off slowly, let it off slightly. So I'll push it in, and then I'll only let it up a little bit. So it's no longer putting out any more gas, but it also isn't releasing it yet. So you notice how I haven't let it up all the way. I'm going to push it again. Now I didn't let it up all the way that time either. And I'm going to do it one more time so it's good and fizzy. Now I'm going to hold it there for a while. We're going to let that CO2 really dissolve down into the liquid. And we're going to let it that way for a while because we don't want it to come out right away, but then we're going to slowly let off the gas. So I'm going to slowly let up on this, very slowly, until you start to hear, you can hear the fizz coming off. And you'll slowly let the fizz off. And until it stops, slowly let off until it stops making that noise. I like to take it off quickly and then put the lid on so it doesn't, sometimes it'll foam over in the end if you don't do that quickly. But as soon as you let all the gas off, you take the lid off quickly. You take this out quickly and put the lid on quickly, and that way it won't let the gas out. And now that is carbonated apple juice. And it tastes just like the sparkling apple juice you'd buy in the bottles. You can do that with any kind of juice that I found so far, but some are more difficult than others. For example, orange juice is one of the hardest to. If you don't get it right, it'll really foam up. But it still does work, you just have to do it really carefully. Just remember, you push it down, but you don't let it all the way up in between. And then after you do it the last time, you let it off very, very slowly, you let that gas out. And if it starts to bubble up, you push it back down until it's not letting it out anymore. But not so, don't put any more CO2 in it, but just push it so it stops letting it out. And then very slowly let it off so it doesn't foam over. Because if it does foam over, it gets up inside here and it kind of gums it up, and it can ruin it and make a mess. So you have to do it very slowly. Now there might be other models that work differently, but the idea is you have to put the pressure on and leave the pressure on for a while. If you don't leave it on for a while, it will just foam right out and it makes a bubbly mess. Also, the beverage has to be very cold. And another thing, the more stuff there is in the liquid, the harder it is to carbonate. So that's why orange juice is so hard, because of all the pulp and everything. So the more dissolved stuff, sugars, pulp and all that, will make it harder to dissolve the gases in it. And so that is how you carbonate a juice in a Sodastream. If you have any more questions about anything, I'll answer them. Just post in the comments below. I'll make a new video, and we'll see you around.